Hello there. Welcome to Portals Podcast. My name is Scott Love, and I'll be your host on this epic journey through the fascinating and inspirational. In each Portals Podcast episode, we'll be focusing on stories that are informative, enlightening, and entertaining. We will be providing the listener with encouraging news, insightful how-tos, and we'll be talking with some amazing people that are doing some truly amazing things. And then sometimes the episodes of Portals Podcast will be used to satisfy my desire to learn about the mysterious and the unknown, and then share them with you. Thank you so much for being here and for being a part of the growing Portals Podcast and Emergence Creative Space community. Find out a little bit more about Emergence Creative Space. You can check out emergencecreative.space. Not .com, it's emergencecreative.space. I'm really happy to have had the opportunity to both write and narrate the In the Shadows series as part of the Portals Podcast. And I'm very happy that you're here with us because there's a million other things you could be doing. I've been letting everyone know as we go along that these first 3 episodes are an experiment. They're me learning how to use the different software, how to handle lighting rigs, how to set up this mic. And there's a lot that goes into it. I enjoy it, don't get me wrong. It's the learning curve, it's a little rough, as you can see from the first 3 episodes. But I'm not making excuses. I'm really proud of what I've done, and I'm hoping that you enjoy it. Okay, so with that down and out of the way, let's get into this episode. This is part 3 of the 3-part series, as I mentioned. In episode 1, we followed along from the ancient Mesopotamian and Egyptian cultures all the way up through the rise and fall of the Roman Empire. In episode 2, we talked about what happened after the Roman Empire as secret societies expanded throughout Europe and the whole state versus church thing, which was actually a lead up to the founding of the Americas, which was the secret society's chance to create a whole new world, a whole new society based on their morals and principles. In this episode, we're taking a look at what those secret societies have morphed into and the grip they have on just about every aspect of society today. It's kind of scary. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag just yet. You have to watch the video. But before we get to the video, first we have a thing. You're listening to Portals Podcast, an extension of the Emergence Creative Space. Listeners are transported into the hearts and minds of some of the most inspired creators, producers, artists, and activists around. Portals is a platform and a spotlight on people, organizations, businesses, and more who are the unsung heroes making a huge impact on the lives of others. My name is Scott Love, and I will be your host on this journey into the powerful world of intention and conscious creation. I am an activist, an entrepreneur, and a visionary. Over the years, I've made some incredible relationships with a lot of truly epic people. Many have helped inspire me and have guided me on my journey. I believe they'll help you as well. Here's what's up. We are a people in transition. The choices we make now will affect lives for generations to come. Our choices will be our legacy. I want Portals Podcast to be a go-to resource for those who are searching for solutions and to help us move us all forward. Thanks for being here. All right, let's get inspired. There you go. There you go. That's the spot. Oh, that's so good. Thank you. Now, if you could just hit that like button, that'd be awesome. Deep State, Dark Skies, and the Invisible Hand. Welcome back to Portals Podcast. How we got here and what created the space for this to happen were covered in the first 2 episodes of this, the In the Shadows series. We found that secret societies go all the way back to the very beginning of the current age of civilization. We can see the fingerprints of clandestine groups behind just about every major historical event, from the earliest cultures of Egypt and Sumer up through the rise and fall of the Roman Empire. Whether to achieve political and social goals or to avoid punishment from the church or a state, the need to be selective and secretive was a matter of life or death. I'm going to try and make this episode as light as possible, but the truth is, actually, it's pretty unnerving. I'm going to touch upon some subjects that may be triggering to some. Please know that it's not my intention to trigger anyone, but with that said, the more information we have, the more prepared we'll be when we need to be. Before we jump into super secret organizations that are running the world today, we actually have to take a step back in time to find their origins. There is a group that has captivated the imagination of people like no other. This is because of its propensity towards delving into the dark arts. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, or just the Golden Dawn, was a late 19th and earliest 20th century secret society shrouded in mystery. Founded in England in 1888, this wasn't your typical club. Its founding members can be traced back to the Freemasons and the Rosicrucian orders that we discussed in Part 2 of In the Shadows. The Golden Dawn had a structured system of initiation, with members rising through degrees with the goal of unlocking the potential of the human spirit and attaining deeper understanding of the universe. In time, the Golden Dawn took on new members, like Aleister Crowley, who helped spread their ideas. I could write a whole episode on Aleister Crowley, and maybe I will. But for now, to keep this from being a 3-hour-long podcast, I'll just let you know that he delved into the mystical and occult, drawing on the traditions of Hermeticism, Kabbalah, and Tarot. There are rumors of sacred sex magic rituals and orgies, tapping into demonic energy in order to gain power, possession, and even murder. If you think that's some spooky stuff, just wait until you hear about the next ones. Skull and Bones, the World Economic Forum, the WHO, the United States Federal Reserve, private security firms, big tech, militia groups, fraternal organizations, and billionaires clubs are just a few groups that have come under the scrupulous eye of many watchdog groups and internet sleuths. Really, the list of organizations with clandestine undertones is in the hundreds, if not thousands. They are found all over the world, with each having cornered the respective market in the conspiracy theorist map of global calamity. But there's one, all alone at the top of the secret society pyramid power structure, the ringleader, Grand Wizard of Oz, the one secret society to rule them all, and who is the mastermind behind all of it. And who is that, you might ask? The Illuminati. The Illuminati. The Illuminati is one of the more well-known secret societies out there. Their imprint in the psyche is due to its association with big media and popular culture. There are countless videos all over YouTube doing their best to bring to light what they think anyhow, are the telltale signs of connection between cults of celebrity and all kinds of hot-button conspiracy theories. But basically, to boil it all down, you see, as it turns out, from what I've heard, and based on the symbols and phrases, color codes, and hand gestures, and based on the fact that there are so many missing people, that the celebrities have made a death pact with the Dark Lord. Makes sense. Here's the deal. The Dark Lord gives them success and fulfills their every fetish. In exchange, the celebrities set out to brainwash others. Mainly, to what end? Well, it's all for the purpose of luring people, mostly people who are not adults, at least emotionally, much like a Pied Piper, into being, and this is the part I get confused about, either they are brainwashing them to be violent, rebellious, and cause trouble, and also at the same time, they are dumbing them down so they can't think for themselves, so that the government can step in with a planned solution to declare martial law so that they can control people more than they already do. Aside from all that nonsense, there is a group that existed called the Illuminati. There is a deep, rich history behind them. There's lots of credible information that supports many of the conspiracy theories. Many books and documentaries have been created to highlight the Illuminati's role in influencing everything from revolutionary wars to manipulating resources, goods and services on the global level, all sorts of crazy shit. And then there is the circumstantial evidence. Many coincidences paint some rather disturbing pictures as to many sordid tales. When one takes the time to connect all the dots, there does seem to be a pattern that supports a few of the claims made. Actually, they really did have a hand in many social and political events. They seem to have had ties and direct connections with many other organizations. They were founded in 1776, year sounds familiar, by Adam Weishaupt, a professor of law in Bavaria. Their stated goals were they were opposed to superstition, obscurantism, which is deliberately withholding key information, and the abuse of state power. They aimed to create a well-educated elite caste that would usher in the new age of reason. They were outlawed. The Bavarian government outlawed the Illuminati in 1784 or 85, fearing the potential for radicalism. Death cults and the military-industrial complex. Okay, buckle up, because we're about to untangle a web of power, influence, and mystery, separating fact from fiction. Once again, it goes all the way back to one of the groups we've already spoken about a couple of times, the Freemasons. Freemasons had some pretty famous members. Winston Churchill and Franklin Delano Roosevelt were Freemasons. Maybe as many as 22 of the signers of the Declaration of Independence for the United States were Freemasons. Some alleged Freemasons hold undue influence in the defense industry, steering lucrative contracts. While there might be some overlap in members, there's no concrete evidence for a coordinated effort, hence the secret part of all this. I mean, there is no evidence, is there? Actually, in 2018, a report by the Center for Responsive Politics did find that industries heavily reliant on government contracts, including defense, donated significantly more to political campaigns than other sectors. This correlation doesn't necessarily prove causation, but it raises questions about the potential conflicts of interest. But it gets much deeper than that. Let's take a second to talk about the skull and bones. Over the years, leaders like George Herbert Walker Bush and George W. Bush, who can't talk about it, were members, leading many to believe that they exude undue influence.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go
I'm
wild.
sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number 322?
Due to Skull and Bones secrecy, there is no definitive list of members. However, through investigative journalism, biographies, and public knowledge, here's an expanded list for some of the notable members, categorized by profession. Disclaimer: this is not an exhaustive list, and some memberships are disputed. It's important to note that being a member of the Skull and Bones doesn't necessarily indicate shared ideologies or coordinated actions. But you got to admit, the list is pretty impressive, and if you take a look at all the decisions that they've collectively made, a pattern does start to arise. Beyond the pale, more modern mysteries. Now we're venturing into even murkier waters of less-known groups. The Bohemian Grove is an annual gathering of wealthy and powerful men. Sounds pretty simple, right? But there's more to it than that. Founded in the late 19th century, details are scarce, but rumors of elite power brokering and strange rituals are tied together. Conspiracy theorists allege this secretive event plays a role in solidifying defense contracts and shaping foreign policy that benefits arms manufacturers. It's important to be skeptical. There's little evidence to support such claims. However, the lack of transparency surrounding Bohemian Grove fuels speculation about its connection to the MI6. Another interesting group, and often mentioned in connection with military-industrial complex, is the Bilderberg Group. This annual conference of European and North American political leaders and figures from finance, industry, and academia first met in 1954. While their stated purpose is to foster dialogue, some conspiracy theorists suggest they discuss ways to maintain global domination through military intervention, which in turn benefits the MIC. Again, there's no evidence to support such a direct connection. However, a 2018 report by the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute found a global increase in military spending, with the top 5 spenders all being permanent members of the UN Security Council, a group with significant overlap with the Bilderberg attendees. This suggests a correlation between global power structures and military spending, but it's not necessarily coordinated by the Bilderberg group. Let's shift gears and focus on the real power player. Coined by President Dwight D. Eisenhower in his farewell address in 1961, it describes the intricate relationship between armed forces, defense contractors, and the political establishment.
We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
The MIC is a complex web of influence, not necessarily a secret society, but so much of what they do is done in secret. Secret meetings, secret agendas, secret business dealings. Many think that all this secrecy is due to knowing that if the public were to be informed, the people just wouldn't stand for what's going on. Here's the condensed version of how it happens. Defense contractors, professional businesses, lobby, which means meet with government officials, to pitch for the ever-increasing military budgets. Politicians often rely on campaign contributions from these contractors. Now, I'm not making this up. This can all be found on opensecrets.org. And the military itself prioritizes acquiring new technologies from these businesses. So it's like this. So let's say someone decides to run for political office, but they need money to run that campaign. So this company, we'll just call them Bomb Making Company 1. Bomb Making Company 1 decides to donate $1 million to this person's campaign. That person wins the campaign and is now an elected official. They then become a chairperson for some governmental body that is making decisions related to national security, as an example. Suddenly, Bomb Making Number 1 calls up the chairperson and says, "Hey, bub, remember that time we gave him $1 million? I wonder if you would have won without that contribution." I mean, it's just a question that I've been wondering. Some argue that the military-industrial complex stifles innovation by focusing on establishing defense contractors rather than encouraging competition for better technology. What do you think? Does MIC spending choke out other projects and hinder our evolution as a people? Does it hinder other social programs? I've always wondered how smart and developed we would be if they spent the same amount of money on education and medicine as they do the military-industrial complex. The complexities of the modern world have birthed new breeds of secret societies. When we delve deeper into the shadows, we find not just whispers of conspiracy and intrigue, but also the echoes of human aspirations for knowledge, enlightenment, and a better world. The Guy Fawkes mask is a well-known symbol for the hacktivist group called Anonymous. Anonymous challenged the technological status quo, advocating for online freedom and information security. The stylized masks are often used in anti-government and anti-established protests around the world. They wear masks for a good reason. They know full well what would happen if their identities are known. They have seen how the will of those in power is flexed. Just ask Julian Assange, founder of WikiLeaks, Edward Snowden, Alexei Navalny, or Aaron Swartz, what happens when you do something and you don't remain anonymous. Just saying, there are many good reasons to remain in the shadows. The legacy of secret societies lies not just in their hidden rituals and guarded secrets, but the enduring human desire to push the boundaries of the known and explore the possibilities of what live beneath the veil. As we look towards the future, the question remains, will secret societies continue to thrive in the age of digital transparency and global scrutiny? Thanks for being here. If you like what you've heard, please consider subscribing and becoming a member. If you would like to support Emergence Creative Space and Portals Podcast, please find us on Patreon at patreon.com/ECS_portals. What are some of the secret societies that you find the most interesting? What impact do you think they have had on the modern world? Remember that the truth is often stranger than fiction. Until next time, keep searching for answers, but be discerning, look for evidence to support claims, and don't be afraid to challenge the status quo.